New tonight at 10, missing person cases in Illinois may be able to be solved quicker, all thanks to a new law that started on January 1st. Whereas before, individual agencies could have waiting periods for people reported missing, now they'll be required to start the investigation immediately. WGEM's Zeke Shapiro talked with local law enforcement and a parent about the benefits of the new law. Zeke?
Daniel, it's called the Missing Person Identification Act. Its goal is simple. Once someone is reported missing, action is immediate. Police tell me in a missing persons case, every second matters.
The first hours are the most crucial in a missing person case.
When a person goes missing, it may sound logical to start looking immediately. However, before January 1st, departments were allowed to implement waiting periods for those who report their family or friends missing. That is now a thing of the past.
Regardless of age, how long they've been missing, mental health status, anything like that, you're going to take the report.
QPD ProAct officer Amber Hastings says her department has always immediately taken down missing persons reports. However, she says the new law will help with situations when they have to work with other departments.
If somebody comes to me to report somebody missing and I realize another agency has already had that person reported missing, I'm going to contact them to let them know the information.
Parents I spoke with in the community say it puts their mind at ease knowing if they lose a child, officers will quickly be on the case.
If they're looking right away when I give a call and they're collecting the information they need, then yes, that'll hopefully help me find my daughter if she ever went missing.
For Officer Hastings, she sees it as a major step the state has taken to help find those who may be in need of assistance.
They'll be able to identify more missing people, and hopefully, like you said, the first few hours are crucial in a missing person case where somebody's gone missing.
Now, when a person is reported missing, they are put into either the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System or the Illinois-specific Law Enforcement Agency's data system, or LEADS. Daniel?
All right, thanks, Zeke. Other technological advancements that law enforcement use are flock cameras and also Amber Alerts.